Hi, Cleo. Are you a design kitty? You gonna teach him design? Teach him design, kitty. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy, and if you guys haven't watched the last video yet, go ahead and watch it right now. This video is going to be a quick recap on the skills that I went over in the last video, but clearly bullet pointing them out to you guys so that you guys know exactly what to practice. There's an endless amount of resources when it comes to practice and material to try to get you guys to get better at these things, but there's not a clear list on what you should practice so that you guys have a clear direction on becoming a successful and talented industrial designer. So this is the list that I'm going to break down and show you guys so that you guys know exactly what to study, all right? So here we go. Let's hit the computer. Let's hit the list. So right away, this is something that I didn't go over in the video because I didn't really have that much content to show you guys. But essentially, it's the AutoCAD class where they teach us how to essentially use that program, AutoCAD. This is not too important because we don't end up using this program later on the line, even after the class. So it's not that important. But what is important is understanding essentially how to draw things and see things in 3D. But if you're a natural industrial designer, it's essentially easy for you, or should be easy for you, to view things and understand things and visualize things in your mind, especially when it is in 3D. So that's an important skill to have. And then the second part of that is to understand how to draw them. So understanding how isometric view works, how orthographic views work, and then little things such as how to draw dimensions, how to letter. These are things that every industrial designer knows, and so this is something that you guys should quickly review. This is not rocket science stuff. Just review it, understand it, practice it, and then every time you write, make sure you're writing in lettering, because that's what all industrial designers do. Okay, moving on to sketching. Of course, this is the huge one. This is the big one. You guys aren't going to be sketching too much later in the actual profession once you finally get your job. If you do, it's just going to be quick sketches where you're trying to figure out how to design something better. It's just a method to get you to a better design. The only thing that's going to be used really is learning how to sketch and design at the same time, simultaneously. That's probably the biggest one out of this major list. But just go over this list, guys. If you're the above and beyond student, I would master and practice all of these because there's some validity to it, especially if you want to be a full industrial designer and you're talking to another industrial designer that went through school. When they bring this stuff up, you don't want to be not knowing of these certain things, right? If somebody mentions about lighting, about rendering techniques, about, desert chrome, you should know those kind of things. So just watch a lot of videos, understand and pick up that lingo, understand and pick up the personality of an industrial designer. Okay, moving on. This is something that I didn't go over very much either, but I mentioned it. It's about colors. This one is also very basic. That's why it's not too important. It's understanding how to use, like X-Acto knives and tools, and understanding crafts and materials, understanding textures and lighting, and Pantone colors, complementary colors, just stuff like that. So most of the time, if you've taken, art classes and stuff like that, they've already kind of taught you this kind of stuff, so you can just kind of move on from there. Okay, for the shop is pretty important just because this is something that if you don't have these tools, it's hard to learn, right? So if you don't have a shop, I would recommend to try to go out and learn how to use like a table saw or a band saw, because these are the major machines that you're going to have to understand and use. Most of the time though, if you're not like a model maker, you're not really using these machines, but as an industrial designer, you should know how to use a bandsaw or a table saw. Do you get what I'm saying? You should know how to work with wood and understand how to put it together and glue them together. The biggest thing about this class, though, is the industrial foam part. So you're going to need to find some way to get industrial foam and then just work with it, understand how to shape it using sandpaper. And then for the very last thing, I just want to make this real quick, guys. This is just a video recap, breaking down the individual skills and bullet pointing them out clearly to you guys, because the last video, it was all about what projects I did and the pictures that went along with them and the skills. But I just want to clearly break this down for you guys. And I'm not saying that everybody is going to be able to do this, but most of the stuff should be already easy for you guys. Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. These are going to be the three major programs of Adobe Suite that they teach us, that we mainly use every single day. The class that they teach us is kind of like an intro to each three of these programs. They assign us a lot of projects where we mostly just replicate things or organize things, so that we can understand how to use the tools better. It's not too designy, it's not really literally teaching us how to use techniques in order to render better. It's more of just breaking down each tool, how do you use them, so that eventually the idea is that you would apply that into your own specific way of how to use these things. And because if when you understand how to use Photoshop, like Photoshop is such a powerful program, it could be used in so many different ways over across so many different professions. But as an industrial designer, we use Photoshop differently than, let's say, a graphics designer or photographer. The class here is just generally teaching us how to use the tools, and eventually it's kind of up to you to specifically design your learning of these programs to how you will use them on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys, that's about it, guys. Just take a look at this list here. Go online. I recommend, there's certain people on YouTube that I highly recommend. Sang-won, he's extremely good when it comes to sketching. Scott Robertson, how to draw in perspective, he's extremely good. So there's a ton of people out there. There's so much different resources to practice and hone your skills, but this is the list, guys. This is gold. This is year one. Next week I'll come out with week two and all the projects that I have for that. It's going to be way more exciting than year one. Stick around for that, guys. But anyways, I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Also, leave a comment down below if there's anything else you want me to talk about, if you have any questions. Also, share these videos if you have an industrial design friend that needs some help. Definitely send these videos over to them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And that's about it, guys. Catch you in the next video. Peace.